And there was a question here.
Well, it had to do with that exact point that you made ultimately.
Okay.
As far as the duplicate content thing, but what I was wondering is if there's a way, when you start changing these things after you've got a bunch of content, and you institute new titles and new paths and all that, I'm wondering about two things: performance hit on things like when you load pages, if that kind of stuff slows down page loads, and also whether that in itself also creates its own duplicate content issue in the search engines.
To address the performance issue, I don't think that it creates more of a performance issue than already having the path module turned on, which is a core module. And Drupal is not the most cleanest overhead type of a thing. I mean, you need to get in there and tweak it, make it faster. But I don't think it provides much of a performance hit. At least what I would say is if it does, it's worth it for your SEO efforts. The other question, I'm sorry, say again?
Was whether or not having all the redirects and everything, if there's a way, if that causes any trouble with duplicate content type issues for Google or anybody, or if there's like a way to tell Google via like a sitemap or something that, hey, I know all these links changed, and please understand that these are no longer valid, these are now. And,
right.
I mean, can you bump them over or something?
So this is exactly when you select that fourth option in the general settings. That's exactly what you're doing. Is you're giving them a redirect, and this is one way to automatically create the redirect. But if you go back to your site building, and there's this, when you have the redirect module, the path redirect module installed, you get this URL redirects link right here, and you can say add a redirect, and you can go manually add them there as well. So. Will it cause problems if you do it? If you accidentally do it wrong, you could have some problems. If you have somebody else who's working on it, they did it wrong, you need to go back and fix it. The tools are there for you to go back and fix those things.
What type of redirect is this?
This should do a 301 redirect, which is a, you can actually pick 301, move permanently. You can pick whichever kind of redirect you want to use. You like that?
Yeah, that's
cool. Jen?
Automatically tells Google that you moved your page. So if Google visited a page has a 301 redirect, it'll automatically update any links it has indexed to the new link.
Cool. If you post, sorry.
And you can also regenerate if you change your path settings, the path header, you can regenerate all your aliases.
Yeah, excellent.
Now, Jen, I was going to get there. No, thanks, I appreciate that. Did you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So if you do go back and you go to the Path Auto, down here at the bottom is a, let's see, it's all that. You can go down here. Oh, I've lost it now. I swear I do this every day. But you can go in and you can, where is it, Jen? Okay, so you can go in and you can delete the aliases that have already been created, and it will automatically regenerate them.
No, you go to automated alias settings.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thanks. And then you can go in and you can say, okay, for general, or you can just go into individual ones, like just the blog. I want to redo all the blog posts. You can go in here and you can bulk generate. But be very careful of that. Back up your database. Back up your database. Seriously, back up your database before you do it. All right? So we've done that, and now let's talk really quickly. How are we doing on? Okay, the global redirect module. This is one of the coolest modules. Although there are settings, you pretty much drop it in and install it, and it's done. What it does, you know how Drupal has this question mark q equals node/1 thing that it does, and that's like the real URL is this query string. But then if you have clean URLs enabled, it just turns into .com/node/1. But if you go back to that original query string URL, it's still there. And although you may never link to it, the menu system knows about the clean URL and stuff like that, you could actually have a situation where both the query string URL and the clean URL is showing up, and Google could pick up on both of those. And then if you, like, I don't know, make node/1 the front page of your site, which on simple Drupal sites, that's sometimes the way you do it, right? So you could actually have 3 different pages that all have the exact same content at 3 different URLs. And so you get this duplicate content thing going on. Now, duplicate content on a website is when Google goes to those 2 pages and it sees the exact same thing. And Google's got to decide which one of those is more important. And in a way, you're kind of competing with yourself in the search engines. And you don't want to do that. So the better thing to do is to redirect all of those old streams that you don't really want Google to see, redirect them over to the new clean path that's there. And so the global redirect module does that for you, and all you do is you turn it on. And if I go back to my site and I created a piece of blog content and I click on that and see how it's got the clean URL, but if I go in here and I say $q equals node/1. If I go there, then the global redirect module is going to redirect me. See how I did that? Okay, so the global redirect module is really an awesome module. I like it a lot. All right, let's see. Let me go back over here. I'm going to go to the SEO checklist again. And then creating a search engine account. How many of you have a Google account? Everybody. How many have a Google Analytics account? Everybody, good. So I don't need to show you how to do that. How many know how to use the Google Analytics module in Drupal? Less, but almost everybody. How many of you know why you should use the module and not just drop the code in the footer of your site? Hardly anybody. Let me explain that. It's really kind of cool. The Google Analytics module, as you know, you drop your Google Analytics code and then it helps you track all the pages of your site. But it actually gives you some configuration options like don't track admin users or don't track users who are members of my own company. And because the people in your company are the ones hitting the site the most. And a lot of people, when they work for a company, they'll make that company like their start page of when they boot up their browser every day. And if you're tracking all that with Google Analytics, you're going to see this really weird pattern. Monday through Friday, we have a ton of traffic, and every weekend we have hardly any. Anybody seen that pattern before? Yeah, that's because Google Analytics is tracking all the people who work for your company as they boot up their browser and hit your site every day. So the Google Analytics module, what it does by turning those off, it actually will dynamically only display the Google Analytics code when you tell it to. So if somebody's logged into your site and they're a particular type of user, you can turn off tracking on that, and then it will only track your anonymous users, or maybe users that are coming back and they're logging in, but they're an outside user and you want to track what they're doing. But it gives you a lot more control. So use the Google Analytics module to do that. Drop it in the footer of your site, drop the Google code in the footer of your site, and you're tracking everything that happens on the site, no matter who it is. So you get a lot more flexibility. One of the reasons that Drupal is such an awesome tool for SEO is because you get that kind of dynamic stuff that's already done for you. I'm not going to show it to you because it seems like most people have already seen that. Tracking your visitors, pasting, this just walks you right through it. It's a process. I'm a big believer in processes, and the module just walks you right through the processes. Meta tags, everybody using the meta tags module? A couple of people. Okay, everybody know what a meta tag is? Okay, not very many. That's cool. So I'm going to open up the front page of the site, and I'm going to go view the source. And you see these things up here that say meta. These are the meta tags of your site. So meta robots, meta titles, stuff like that. But you notice there's some meta tags that are missing, like the description, which between you and me, the description meta tag is the only meta tag that you need to worry about. The keywords tag is obfuscated. Google doesn't check it anymore because people have abused it so much and it's so easy to abuse. And remember, if you pull up your website and you don't see meta tag modules, Google doesn't see them either, okay? But that description will show up in Google. When you do a Google search, the link is the title tag. Well, that description right beneath the title tag in Google is the meta description. So it's important to do meta description. So we have that turned on, and I can go in here. And actually, I don't think I have my. Let me just check, but I don't think I have my permissions set to do it. Let's see. Meta tags on it too. Good. So I can go in here and say this is the description tag, the worst description tag ever written, right there. And then, but why would you ever do keywords based on what I told you? Why would you ever do them? In case things change, that's a great answer. Things change, they do. Somebody said other search engines. Other search engines do pay more attention to the meta keywords tag. To me, the only reason I do it is because my customers expect it. Not because it helps them, but I don't want them to go in and then have heard from somebody that, oh, you need to have keywords in your meta tags, which is ridiculous and wrong. But they'll tell them that so that they look smart, and then your customers looks like, you didn't even do the most basic SEO, you know? All right, so we just go ahead and do them so that we